Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's expert webinar on building skills in robotic process automation. I'm Satyakshi from Spring People. We are India's largest enterprise training provider. I will be your moderator for today's session. In today's webinar, we have our experts Paramantappa Dasgupta, Senior Manager, Automation Anywhere, and Pallavi Prasad, Technology Evangelist, Spring People. Mr. P. Das Gupta is part of global training and certification team at Automation Anywhere and manages government initiatives and training partnerships across countries in IMEA, APAC regions. His attempt today is to help building critical skills on RPA for the learners ecosystem across the board from enterprises to academia. RPA unlocks even greater potential by facilitating digital transformation, enabling incremental revenue opportunities for the businesses, and freeing resources to focus on process improvements and value-added work. Prior to joining Automation Anywhere, he worked on Amazon Web Services, IBM, and managed several skill-based programs in enterprise application development, business analytics, big data, and cloud computing for more than a decade. So coming to our next expert, Pallavi, with the 12 plus years of experience as a technology trainer, specializes in training people on data structures, multi-threading, .NET Framework 3.5, AngularJS, JavaScript, to name a few. She is a certified Automation Anywhere trainer and has trained the tech folks of Unilever, Bosch, HP, SAP, Mindtree, etc. So in today's webinar, Parantap and Pallavi will help us make sense of the world of RPA. They will talk about the digital workforce, its business impact, and why it is imperative for all stakeholders to hone their RPA skills to prepare for the future. They will also give a technical overview of the RPA tool and demonstrate some RPA basic use cases. If you have any questions during the session, please type it in the chat box and they will be addressed by our experts after the presentation is over. So without further ado, let's start today's session. Over to you, P. Dasgupta.
Hi, thanks for the intro and thank you. It's a pleasure to be here today and kudos to Spring People team for organizing today's session on building skills on robotic process automation. Thanks to the audience for your time today. My name is P. Dasgupta, Senior Manager, Training Partnerships and Government Initiatives. Today, we are going to discuss some of the critical aspects of automation anywhere as well as the RPA in general. And we will be covering the introductory concepts around RPA, how digital workforce is helping the businesses worldwide. Another important point for most of us, how to build skills around RPA and for the specific job roles. We will also take a glimpse at A209 Enterprise RPA platform. That's also world's first cloud native RPA platform. And then Pallavi will take you through some of the hands-on sessions and use cases around various areas. And you'll also get to see how does the RPA platform actually look like and how easy it's to build the bots. So without spending more time, let's get into the discussion. Now, in my slide, currently you are seeing some of the names, and they happen to be a pretty large names even 2 to 3 decades ago. But since 2000, we have seen that 52% of the Fortune 500 companies are simply no longer around. They're gone. Many of them were acquired by the larger, more aggressive companies, to be sure. Others were replaced by the companies that disrupted them with more innovative business models. In fact, when we see the lifespan of the companies nowadays, that's declined from on an average 60 plus years to in 1950s to around 15 years today. And this is happening due to disruption in various market segments. On the other hand, when we are seeing the digital native companies who are disrupting the industry after industry. And we are seeing these organizations are driving business much faster with greater agility, with a much superior customer experience providing to their customers. These companies had the advantage of starting with a blank sheet paper in most of the cases and build the processes and the systems designed for today's world. But they are not stopping here. They're also automating at an incredible pace. Many of them are, in fact, our customers today. So we are, as a company, Automation Anywhere, are trying to solve a business problem. And the problem is pretty interesting. As the statement states, after decades of automation and decades of different types of technology that we have been using, the majority of the business processes in enterprises category mostly are still manual. The question is why? Let's take a deeper dive. And here we will start talking more towards digital transformation and how automation is an integrated part of digital transformation. And in fact, without automation, digital transformation that most of the organizations are talking about essentially is nothing but an hallucination. So if automation is the answer, why it's so difficult for the customers to automate today? The reason is in most of the organizations, we have siloed front office, back office, employee productivity, IT systems, etc. Let's take a closer look here. In the front office, systems like Salesforce or Microsoft Dynamics are designed to increase the customer interaction. In the back office, systems like SAP or Workday or Oracle or IBM are built to increase the business efficiency. Finally, there are employee productivity solutions, which most of us use in some or other way, either an Office suite or Zoom or G Suite in various ways, right? So all these are the applications are used by most or many of the employees across the organization. And the way they have been designed, most of the applications do not talk to each other. So what we do not have is basically a synergistic single platform view across the organization. And exactly that's where it becomes challenging for most of the employees, because these softwares, they don't work in tandem. So the employees have to act as the bridge between these applications, losing the valuable productivity cycles and generating lower job satisfaction. So it's just like what we often do, copying data from one particular application and putting data in the other application, and it becomes very mundane, repetitive process for us. So what we need is basically a single automation platform, what is the most needed at this point of time, because these islands of applications can't be connected with the islands of automation. So we are talking about of the benefit of having a single automation platform. But before getting into there, let's look at something else. This is very critical for our today's discussion, and we prefer to call this as automation density slide. If you look at the enterprises over the last 20, 30 years, over the time, the complexity in the businesses are increasing, starting with mainframe and Windows, Linux, and of course, the ERP phase. And now we are talking about cloud and mobile application. Now, the gap which is there in between the complex application and the way we are using the application, and that gap between what could have been automated and what has been automated so far, that's also increasing. The challenge is somebody who knows how to automate a mainframe application doesn't know how to automate an SAP application. Somebody who knows how to automate an SAP application doesn't know how to automate, for example, a Silverlight web application. But what is the lowest common denominator that we have in the entire framework? We're nothing but the human being. They are using the presentation layer, mostly the presentation layer, using a screen and a keyboard in front of them, just like me. Right now, running presentation using various tools and platform. And that common denominator doesn't change between organization to organization. So what is the future? If we can automate some of the work or most of the work and introduce the digital clone of us or the digital labor, and the human labor and digital labor can work together and take the things further. So this is what we are calling as the digital workforce of the future. So how would they look like? That's a pretty interesting question. So at Automation Anywhere, we believe that to be a digital enterprise, you need to digitize processes and a digital workforce that complements your human workforce. So digital workers, they transcend the RPA. Their core attributes are the bots, which are intelligent. They use AI to learn and improve over time. They use the analytics to ensure that their work is effective. And finally, they're capable of discovering processes that can benefit from their help. So if you look at the people's core attributes or human beings core attribute, we are creative. We have the ability to connect the dots. We have the ability to build strong relationships, having empathy and the compassion for others. These are the human characteristic. So we shouldn't get into too much on the mundane work. We have the bots which we can develop to run those mundane work, and we focus on how to make the businesses better. So here is one example, and this will give you a perspective what happens when a quote to cash, the most common example in any business, and how does they go on through various swim lanes that we have in most of the organizations. Now, if you look at from left to right, on your extreme left, you have a customer. The customer is placing an order. We have Salesforce or any other similar application. It's creating the quote, then it's going through some other processes. It's working on the purchase order, credit check, shipment, invoicing, payment, and finally we are looking at the cash, and the customer is getting the product or the service. Now let's start looking at what happens and how many days generally it takes to work through various applications. And there are multiple human being or the workers are there as a part of the processes. So essentially it takes around 30 days to complete a process. So if you look at here, we have the digital application, we have the cloud-based applications as well, but the applications are not talking to each other. Now, it's not our duty of any organization to make all the applications to talk to each other. However, we can define those specific areas, which are now you can see in this chart as a red cross sign next to a human being. And those are the joins took most of the time to get the process done. So let's implement automation in this particular process. So what we have done, we have added some of the bots, and basically this will help us to reduce the errors. This will reduce the rework to deliver on our customers' needs faster. So what if we could simplify the complex processes, the prone to errors and the rework, into a much simplified, automated, and fast one? This is actually the real value proposition of automation. Now look at the slide. Now the same work starts. And it reduced substantially the number of days. We didn't bypass any process. All we did, we reduced the dependency of human being on the mundane work. But human beings are still there. So it's not about replacing people. It's like the bots are working side by side with our existing people. These bots learn and take over all the mundane tasks that are prone to error and rework. So when we are talking about automation anywhere, essentially we are talking about some of the critical areas in the entire process. And if we really want to simplify that, it's very easy. We are talking about only four things: how to discover the processes which need to be automated, left to right. Second one is how to capture, how to understand the different types of data, the structured, unstructured data, the data lying in various forms inside the enterprises. Then how effectively we can automate those processes, and last one, how to optimize. So these are the four main building blocks of our capabilities. We have Discovery Bot, IQ Bot, Enterprise RPA, and Bot Insight. So starting from process discovery to understanding the data to robotic process automation, which can happen in both the ways, the attended automation or unattended automation, where we are running the bot by us, and the other one is the bot is running on its own. It's kind of a scheduled bot. And then we look at the operational insights as well as the business insights. So if you put everything together, we essentially get to see a smart digital work framework or automation framework. Simplifying the entire value proposition in a single slide, we are still focusing on those four areas: process discovery, data understanding, RPA, where we will be developing the bots and running the bots, and then analyzing the power of RPA and the effectiveness of those bots and the ROI. So essentially, we are looking at business resiliency. We are talking about labor optimization, faster cycle times, a better customer experience. That's one of the best, the most important points. Employee productivity, yes. Compliance and security. So we are not removing human being from this entire process. That's not the objective of any organization. We're basically bringing the digital helpers or the digital assistants to the human being to make the work a little better. Time for us to look at Automation Anywhere as a company, the undisputed global leader. The numbers speak for themselves. The very important points for us to mention that we have been here in this market for quite some time. We spent more than 16 years developing the platform. There are 2.4 million digital workers of the bots deployed across hundreds of businesses and thousands of businesses actually. 1 million plus user community that we have. We do business in 90 countries, and Gartner, HFS Research, Everest Group, all of them are naming Automation Anywhere as a leader for quite a few years. A closer look in Automation Anywhere, where we start the business, start the focus, anything and everything with the customer. So that's in the center, and the customer success manager. Every Automation Anywhere customer is assigned a customer success manager who works closely with the customer to easily start, scale, and transform their business. The customer support manager assures the support the customer to get along their entire journey. To focus further, we have Automation Anywhere University, which provides the instructor-led training, e-learning, global RP certification. In today's discussion, we are going to focus more on Automation Anywhere University on how to build the skills in the next few slides. Then we have professional services that provides industry experience, technical consulting, and RPA program management. We have a very strong partner ecosystem, more than 1900 plus global system integrators and business process outsourcers who work very closely with us. A very interesting part, and many of you might be seeing this for the first time, we have a private bot store, and that's basically the way you use Android, Google Play Store, or for iOS, the App Store. So similarly, we have bot store where there are hundreds of bots which are pre-configured, and you can download the bots to start immediately your journey, and those bots are pre-configured. The other side, we have customer support. We have AP2 community where you can go and you can actively participate in the forums. There are tons of resources, tons of documentation, etc. We also have the customer success engineer, the dedicated engineering team who are assigned to your organizations. Let's focus on the learning part that we have on Automation Anyway University. This is your gateway to build the global online and the certification skills. We have the role-based and industry-based learning trails. There are continuous learnings starting from even a 10 minutes duration course to hours of learning. Currently, more than 1.4 million trainings we completed with the active user base, more than 440,000 plus, 110,000 certifications delivered across the world. And there are lots of online courses which you can access in our platform. This is a slide where I want to spend little more time because this is what is the most important for us to understand. When we look at RPA, it's not about learning the same thing for everyone. There are different roles that we play in our respective organization. We can be business users, we can be IT administrators, we can be developers, or we can be the technical resources like the consultants and all. If we are a business user, okay, if we are the business users, we are essentially the program managers or business analysts, for example. So for them, we have the defined learning trail. If there are business analysts in today's audience, you'll be happy to understand and learn that we have discussed with hundreds of business analysts to understand the processes that you follow, and we created and tailor-made learning trails for you, similarly for the program managers and the project managers. For IT administrators, we have the infrastructure administrators or the bot control room administrator, and they essentially work more towards managing the bots than developing the bots. Then we have the third category where we have the developers. You can be a bot developer. You can be an IQ bot developer where you work more with the intelligent document processing, you work more with machine learning, etc. Or if you are into a technical role, you can be a solution architect or you can be a technical support specialist. So for each one of you, there are different learning trails created. At the same time, there are different certificates. So one level of certification is advanced certification that we have. The higher level of certification is master certification. So these are the two certifications we have on across our tools. So at the advanced level of certification, we do not spend more time towards, or we do not want to take you through a detailed bot building exercise, and that's covered in the master RPA professional certificate. In advanced certification, the focus remains around bringing the familiarity of the platform to you so that you understand what is RPA. You start working on RPA, you get the confidence to start getting into, start taking a deeper dive into RPA. Whereas on the master's certification, you get into the development of bot, and it's a much deeper curriculum compared to advanced, and that's what you learn. For our today's discussion run by Sprint, they're one of our authorized training partners. They have the capability to run the training programs, both the mastering programs as well as the advanced certification program. Pallavi is there. She will take you through deeper into those aspects related to the Spring People side. Quickly moving into the last portion of last few minutes of my presentation, and this is to give you a high-level perspective of Enterprise A2019, which is our latest offering, RPA offering. So when you look at RPA and when we look at the ability of the platform to create the bots, and the objective is to how they can mimic the human characteristic in terms of working, performing the mundane tasks better. It's not a single layered or a single tool based platform. There are multiple things in it, and this is kind of a simple or a simpler version of the platform to present. If you look at the bottom most portion, which is in yellow, so that's basically the robotic process automation platform. So there we have control room, we have the bot runner, we have the bot creator. These are the three components are needed to create the bots, to run the bots, and to control the bots, as the name suggests. Then you can have either the attended bots or you can have the unattended bots, depending on how do you create the bots. On top of that, there are three very important layers or modules. Left to right, IQ bot, which focuses on the cognitive side of it. It understands the different types of documents and things like that. Then we have bot inside, which focuses on the analytical capability and creates the operational analytics, etc. Then we have the mobile app so that you can access the bots from anywhere in any mobile devices. On top of that, we have bot store. That's very unique. So here is the digital worker marketplace. So you can look a bot store, you can look at a bot store from two different perspectives. Number one, if you are a business owner and you want to run some of the bots, there are pre-configured bots for you. You do not need to do anything. Just like you download an app for your mobile or for your iPad or any other device, similarly, you can go to the bot store and download a pre-configured bot and start working on it. Or if you are an entrepreneur, you can also study open business with us by signing up into a bot store, start creating the bots, and start publishing and selling the bots on bot store. On the right hand side, we have the delivery mechanism. Automation Anywhere tools are available on premise or public cloud based or even web based. So in any way you want to use them is very easy. Next slide, I'm going to show you how actually it looks like. As you can see, this is the interface of A2019. After my presentation, Pallavi will take you through in more detail. This is the way you create the first small task bot, and the entire work which you will be doing essentially on a web page on a browser. And this is world's first web cloud native RPA, which you can access from anywhere. We have a community edition, which is absolutely free for you, and you can access that from most of the devices that you have the capability to run the browsers. So I'm almost at the fag end of my presentation, and some view for you to look at and how cool is the interface and how easy to use. So you have the easy search boxes, you have the advanced DL actions, you have the ability to create bots on Windows or Mac or even an iPad. As a matter of fact, one of our trainers, he built a bot while into a flight some 30,000, 35,000 feet above the ground level, and that's a record. And he created the bot using his iPad. So if he can, why can't you? So that's it. So I'm there in my last slide of presentation. So thanks a lot for your time, and visit Automation Anywhere University, work with Spring People team, get into the program, build your skills, and this is your gateway to the future of work. Thank you very much. Pallavi, you can take it from here.
Thank you, PD, for your invaluable insights. I'm sure all professionals here will take away some key very learnings and insights from your experience. Now let's see what Pallavi have for us. Over to you, Pallavi.
Thanks, Satyakshi. Thanks, PD. And good afternoon or good evening, everyone. I'm Pallavi. Satyakshi has already introduced me to all of you, and what you're seeing at present happens to be the Enterprise Edition of Automation Anywhere A 2019. So the best part about A2019 is that it is cloud-based. You don't store anything locally. You don't put anything locally. You just store everything, and I literally mean all your bots, everything online. So everybody has been talking about bots. I'm assuming all of you can see my screen. Okay, so taking that ahead, whenever you're going to be working with Automation Anywhere, as Mr. Das informed you, there are two versions available to you. The free version is the community edition. So I'll just take you to the site just to show you how you can register. It is quite a simple process actually. So I'm just going to take you to register that automation, just show you where to go to. So when you go to Automation Anywhere site, go for our community edition, you should be able to see the site. I'm sorry, my system is slightly lagging today because of too much of workload on it. So this is the community edition. All you're going to have to do is register with it, and you can play with the entire concept of automation, the entire concept of RPA using this tool. And it's a fun tool to play with because it's very, very easy to work with, very easy to understand, and very easy to use. So this, as soon as you log into your community edition, you get a link, and all you have to do is click the link and you are in your community edition. You can create your username and password and save it there so that you can, there's a timeline that you can use this. The free edition, it has almost all the features that an enterprise edition will give you. The only difference between the community edition and the enterprise edition is that you will be a user or developer in the community edition. Whereas if you're working with an enterprise edition, the control room is in the hands of the organization. In this case, the control room is in the hands of the Automation Anywhere team. That's the only difference. But otherwise, everything else looks, feels, works similar. This is the dashboard that you will land on as soon as you log into your Automation Anywhere control room. In the previous versions of Automation Anywhere, we had this particular split between the control room and the client. So your client used to be installed locally, and you had a control room on the web, and you had to connect the client to the control room on the web. So here, the client has been disposed of. Instead, you have a control room that is associated with you as a developer as well. Now, for you to be able to use Automation Anywhere, there are a couple of things that you have to take care of. The first of the things that you have to take care of is you have to register your device, the physical device on which you are communicating with the control room. You have to register that device with Automation Anywhere's control room. So for registering a device, all you need to do is a two-step process, and it's a very simple one. You just have to click on the My Devices that is available on the menu on the left, and you will get a plus here. Mine is already registered, so you're seeing my name and the PC name. Instead, you can click on the laptop here. There is a plus on the laptop. If you just click that, it will ask you to connect to the computer. So when you're connecting to the computer, the first thing it will do is it will check to see if the bot agent is involved. So the bot agent is a piece of software which is the only thing that you need to install locally on your machine, so that it allows you to communicate between the device and the laptop or the desktop that you install this on. All the resources that are available locally have to be accessible to the bot. For that very reason, we require the bot agent. Another reason for the bot agent to come into existence is, or to be used, is it helps you execute whatever your bots are. It requires memory, etc., to execute as well. So everything is available locally. So make sure it is connected. So all you have to do is manually download the latest version and install the bot agent. I have already done that. So it will just connect to my system very easily. Once it has connected, another thing that you need to do after installing is The second step is to register your device here. So when you go to your device credentials, it will show you your update device credentials. All you have to do is register your credentials here. So give the name of your PC and give the device password and click on register or update, whatever would be the button that is being shown to you. Just click that and you are done. Your credentials are available. Now your device is recognized by your control room. Now this is the crucial part which you have to do if you want your bots to be executed. Otherwise, you will not be able to access your files, your folders that you have available to you locally. Let us now have a look at how to generate a bot, create a bot. So you can create a bot in two ways, basically, a task bot in two ways, basically. One is you can go to the dashboard and click on create a bot. This will also take you to the same location. So will if you go to bots and select new bot. So this is one way. The second method is if you go to bots, open my bots and select this particular create a bot. So the ease with which you can create a bot, I'm just demonstrating that bit to you instead of directly jumping into the creation of a bot. So this is your starting point. You will be able to create a bot quite successfully here. Whatever bot you want, you can create it very easily here. So let me say I want to create a demo bot. So I already have a bot called demo bot, and I'm just giving a 1 next to it. It's always preferable that you give some kind of a description or the other. The reason is it helps you to understand how it actually works. So that is, it explains what that bot is supposed to do. So it's always preferable to give an description. It's not mandatory. Now, just click create and edit, and it will come up with a beautiful bot editor for you. Now, this bot editor is different from the earlier versions. So if you have used the earlier versions of Automation Anywhere at any point, whether it is 11 or 10, you might have found a completely different environment compared to this. Here, in case of Automation Anywhere 2019, there is this beautiful feature where it allows you to look at different perspectives of your code. So you can see a flow chart, you can see a list, and in the dual mode, you can see both the perspectives. Now, this looks congested. So if you want more space to work in, just collapse the menu. And you can always retrieve the menu by just clicking on the hamburger. It will just retrieve the menu for you, and you can go back to working with the other screens that you would like to work with. Now, you can also see that in this particular A2019, it is similar to what was in the client, but not exactly the same. One of the reasons is that here it is the way it is working is slightly different because you have your variables that you can create here. They are independent. I mean, you can create your own variables here, and you will find that there is a huge range of data types provided for the variables. So all you have to do is click on the plus and you have a variable created. All these variables are local to the bot. Whatever I'm creating at present are all local to the bot. Okay. You just have to give a name to the variable. So let us say I give it as info. Let us say this variable name is info. Now you can see there is at the bottom, you will see that there is something called type. If you expand that drop down box, you will see that there are so many different kinds of data types that are available to you here over and above what was available in the earlier versions of Automation Anywhere. So this makes us concentrate better on what kind of data is being stored. We don't have to worry about the data type being stored. I can store a table. I can extract something from the internet and store it very easily. There is no problem there. So what I am thinking is to be able to develop a very small bot for you, a major basic bot, so that it's just a get your hands dirty kind of a bot, which is to just show what happens where and when and how. That's all. Okay. So I'm just closing this and I'm going to open up a new window. See, and I'm going to put in the necessary web page. So what is it that I'm planning on developing? is simple. So let us assume that I have a web page and I want to be able to simulate the login to that particular web page. How am I going to do it? That would be a very simple bot to do. I want to be able to log in to a web page. How do I do it? What do I do? So now these kinds of regular scenarios are the ones that we work with. Another one that we have is if we want to extract something from a web page and then we want to be able to automate the information into a particular form on the web page. Now that would be another task that we would do. We would have some information coming in from some other location into maybe we could push it into a CSV or an Excel file and then open it and populate a particular web page, a CRM for us. That is also something that people do on a normal basis. So we are going to build one bot for now, a simple bot. Please do share your questions if you have any, so that I can always get back to you in case of if you have anything to ask or whatever. Okay, so let's start by creating the bot. So the first bot that you're going to be creating, or the most basic bot that we are going to be creating, is simple. We are going to start by adding an action. In case of the earlier versions of Automation Anywhere, we had around 400 plus commands. We have more here. We have quite a few of them. We have the legacy commands as well that have come from the earlier version, and we have the ones that have been allocated in Automation Anywhere 2019 as well. So you have lot of commands available. For us to be able to pick up a particular command, you can do it by doing a search, which takes some time, or you can search in the search window. So my first job is for me to be able to pick up a particular site. So whenever you're going to plan a bot, you're going to have to plan how you're going to develop the bot. So for that, we'll get into a notepad and we'll just quickly list what is it that we want to do. So the first thing that I want to do is to be able to launch a particular website, and I want to be able to extract the table from that website. This is the first one. I will be saving this table into a CSV. Now this is the first step that I want to do. The second step that I would like to do is for me to be able to loop through the CSV and populate a form. This is basically what I would like to do. This is the simplest example that I have at present. Of course, there are more complicated examples that we can have a look at. So let me just show you how it is built, and then I will show you a bot which is a little more complicated than this. So let us start. The first step that we want to do is we want to launch, but there is a modularization concept available to us in case of Automation Anywhere 2019. In the modularization concept, what we do is we drop or we use what is known as a step concept. So the step is going to allow us to create modules of what we want to do. So you can see the configuration panel opens up here where we set up what we want to do. So I want to be able to launch the website here. So this is what I want to do in the first step. So let us write what is necessary into the first step. We are going to start by launching the website. So drag and drop the website, launch website. Now you need to have the URL to launch the website. So I'm just going to go and pick up that particular URL. So there is a site that RPA has given us called as RPA demos new user list. So I'm just picking up this particular site. So I'm picking up the information from this particular site. This is the information that I'm using. Okay. So let us capture the site name. Just copy it and paste it into your URL. And please make sure that you don't select default browser. Please be very specific about the kind of browser that you would like to work with. Here, I'm working with Google Chrome, so be very specific. The reason why we do not select default browser is because different machines may have different default browsers. So we want to be able to target the browser on which the bot was developed. So I'm selecting that. So once you have launched the website, next thing you need is to be able to extract the content. So to be able to extract it, we use a action called as capture, which comes under the recorder. So all you do is add the capture, specify the window that you want to work with. As you can see, at present, the window is not recognized. So we are going to refresh the window. So when you refresh it, you should be able to see the list available to you. And in the list, we are going to pick up that particular window that we were discussing at present, which is this one. Inside this, you're going to capture the object. Now, this is what this particular capture is a combination of a web recorder, a screen recorder, and your object cloning. All the three together, it's a combination. This particular capture action that is in A29 is a combination of all the three actions that are there in A11. So if you have used A11, you will be comfortable with that. If not, you can learn how to use this. It is very simple. Just click on capture object, place your cursor on that particular entity in HTML page that you want to capture. It will give you a red outline. If you click it, it will record that particular element for you. So it has captured that particular object for me. Now, what is it that I want? I want to be able to retrieve the table. So we have a property called get, or we have an action called get table. We select that and we store it somewhere. Now, as I said, there are various kinds of data types available here. And one of the data types we have is known as a table. So we just have to click on this create variable and select the table that you want to be able to use. So I'll call this as my user list. That is the name of the table. I'm just going to create and select it. And I'm done. Now the last part of this particular section, I want to be able to write the information from the table into the file. So we have something called write to file under data table. So just drag it and drop it here. It's as easy as this. Just drag and drop, do the configuration, and your bot is ready to run. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this much for now. Then we will see how we can add on to the rest of it. So just have to select the data table and specify where you want to be able to store the information. You can browse, not a problem. If you are not sure of the path, you can browse and pick up a path. So I'm going to go to documents, and just under documents, I'm going to select it. See, the problem is you can't select it just like that. So let us select some other location. So I'll select Automation Anywhere folder. This is a folder that I have. So I'm just selecting that folder and I'm pasting it here. Give a slash and give the name of the CSV file into which you want to write it. So I'm calling it users.csv and I'm just clicking on save. Now, before I click on save, there is an option here which says create files or folders. If it doesn't exist, please make sure you check this, because it will then not search for an existing file. It will search to see if the file exists. If it doesn't, it is going to create the file for you. Another thing is you don't want to be able to append the file. You want to be able to overwrite it, because every time you grab the information from the website, it could be new information. In such a case, you're going to overwrite the existing file and just click on save. And there you have your bot ready. By the way, your bot is 100% ready. Now you can execute it. And to be able to execute the bot, just click on run and it will execute the bot for you. So it is now doing some pre-processing work here, where certain dependencies are being taken into consideration, and it is also going to handle a few pre-processing processings. So you can see it's loaded the information. Now my web page will come up, it will capture this, and it is going, it's done. By the way, it didn't even take the time it took for me to develop the bot. See, it's opened it and it's finished. It's actually finished the work. So let's have a look at what it has actually done. It's run successfully. So let's see whether it's actually completed that job that it was asked to do or not. And here is your users.csv, and this has been created for you without any further ado. I'm sorry, this is something that from some other batch. The information is here, as you can see. The entire information that you would like to work with is absolutely here, and you can use it for your work. Now, this is the first part of what we do. Now we need to iterate through this and pull it into a particular file that can also, pull it into a particular web page that can also be done next. So I'm just going to not save this, and I'm going to close everything that I have here. Just a couple of minutes. Okay. And let's start with the second step. So I'm done with the first step where I am launching the website and extracting the table. You can collapse each of these steps after you're done so that it doesn't distract you. You can collapse it here as well as here. And as you add new steps, you can actually move your bot up. So let me show you that. So I'm adding a second step here, and you can actually move your bot up so that you can, see what's happening, and you can develop your bot further. So this is to loop through file and update CRM. Okay, so that is what you're planning on doing next. Now this is how you are going to develop your bot, a step-by-step process. Now I have a bad habit, and that is that every step I create, every module I create, I tend to test it before I move on to the next one. It avoids a lot of problems for me, literally does avoid a lot of problems for me. So I tend to do this every time. If you are okay with developing the bot in a single shot and testing it, again, your choice. But this way ensures that you have, you're making sure that each and every section of the bot you develop is working fine. So this is one process that we always follow. Now, I'm not going to continue with this particular bot. I would like to show you a little more complicated bot. So I'm just closing this, and I have a set of bots that I already have here. So I'm just going to run one and show you how it looks. This particular bot is written on for a simple process of downloading some information from the web. So this is still in the testing mode, but I would like to show you the kind of complexity that you can have in a particular bot. So you can see the size of the bot. I have around 37 lines here. Sometimes the bots exceed 200, 300 lines as well. Depends on the kind of work that you do. So in such cases, when the bots are really huge, what we do is we create smaller bots and we call them all one after another. It's preferable that you don't write large bots. It's really not preferable. Simple reason is it takes a lot of time to debug. So you have to run through the entire process. If there is a section of the bot that is giving a problem, all you have to do is go and test that particular child bot independently. So that gives you a better leverage on making sure that your entire bot is working fine. Okay, so this is a small bot that has been written. It is about only 37 lines. It's a small one. So I would like to test it and see. It's in the testing mode, as I said. This particular bot was written to extract information from a particular site. I'm using Internet Explorer for this. So the site that I'm testing for this bot, it's a demonstration bot. So the site I'm testing for this bot is this NSC India site. And in this site, what it initially does, the bot does, is it captures this particular table that you're seeing here. This table is captured. I have set it for 5 runs. So it is going to look at only 5, only for 5 companies. It's not going to look at more than that. Now, all I'm doing here is I am going to be iterating. Just give me a minute. Yes. So this is the site, as I told you. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to push this data into a particular CSV file. And once the CSV file is loaded, it is going to start by typing in the values here. So it will type in 20 microns limited completely. Then it will click on get data. So when it clicks on that, a second table is opened, And in this second table, there are a set of PDFs. So I am planning on downloading each of these PDFs into a folder that is specific to that particular company. So I am running it only 5 times. That means I'm looking at only 5 organizations. If the time permits or if my demo bot works, then it can be expanded to handle the rest of the companies as well. So let's just test it and see. This is not a resilient bot. So you can make this bot resilient by adding exception handling and error handling that is available as part of the Automation Anywhere's action window. So that has not yet been added here. It has not yet been made resilient. So the information got captured at present. As you can see, it is showing you what is happening in each step. So line number 4 is being handled. That means it is writing to the .csv file. So now next the .csv file will open in my taskbar. You will be able to see that once it has written it. It takes some time. So there it has opened it. Next step is for me to extract the contents that are there in the CSV. And once the contents have been extracted, now let me open this and I will show you what happens next. So it is getting it. Can you see it's typing it in, clicking it, and now it is going to click on the first one. And I want to be able to capture this particular data. That means I want it to give a control, yes, and save the file. So there is a chance that it could fail because of one particular action in the middle, which could give a problem. So let us see. So if that particular action does not happen, then my bot will give me an error. And you can see that the bot did give an error. So I'm closing this. And if you go back here, you will notice that the bot has given you an error, that there is an error at a particular line. Okay, so I am going to just make sure that this is closed. And this is a simple example of how you can work with your various applications. So here I have 2 applications that are running. One happens to be my web application, which is my Internet Explorer, and at present I don't know why it is not closing. It seems to be deciding on something else. Okay, let it close. And the other one is my Excel application that opened earlier. So there are 2 applications that I'm working with in tandem. This is how you're going to work with your Automation Anywhere. Another thing is it has created the folders for me, and the folders, these 5 folders that are here, these 5 have been created through Automation Anywhere. They haven't been created manually. Let me just delete those 5 again, and let me just show that bit to you again. It is not going to download it at present because of a small issue. I'm just going to comment out that particular action, save my bot, and run it again. Let's see if it works. So this is how you play around with the bot. Ashish, I'm not able to see the questions panel, Ashish.
Pallavi, we are having at the end. Pallavi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, so Pallavi, finish your slide, then we can have the questions.
Yeah, so I just wanted to check, that's it. Anyway, it's still running, so you can see what is happening.
Mm-hmm.
So it will open the save, and it is going to click on the save button for me. So, but this is not the page that it is supposed to look for. So that's the reason why it is not going to work again. So it's going to give me an error. So these are the small kinds of issues that we need to sort out whenever we work with our Automation Anywhere. So I'm just closing it. You can stop the bot in between, and you can go back and check to see what could be the actual issue that has occurred. So the bot will tell you that there was an issue. But these kinds of errors are kind of vague. The reason is it says it cannot find the window or the application titled save as. So That's the issue. It's not able to find that particular application, and this can be solved further. So I'm going to stop it here because the bots can get as complicated as you want or as low down as you want. So you're welcome to throw questions at me and we can discuss them.
Thank you, Pallavi. So if you guys are interested in learning more about RPA, do check out our super discounted batches of virtual instructor-led trainings on our website, springpeople.com. These VLT trainings are leveraged online from the comfort of your home and flexible as per your schedule and location. If you do not find any suitable batches, we would be happy to discuss and schedule private batches for you. You can find the training link in the chat box for the RPA training. For more information, do write to us at training@springpeople.com or call on our number displayed on the current slide. Now we will open the forum for our experts to answer questions that we have received during the PPT. Pallavi, can you see the question?
Yes, I can. Thank you. So there is a question from Mr. Sanjeev Kumar. He says, how do you address manuscript data in Excel, Word, etc.? You can do that. You can do it. You have what is, let me share my screen again, sorry. So yeah, you have a option available to you here called PDF, where you can play around with the various PDF contents, where you can extract the text from documents that are there in your this one. Yes, I agree. OCR tools don't give 100% accurate information, which is the reason why we tend to use PDF. And if you use PDF to extract the data, you can pull out the text from your document. You can extract images, you can pull out text using the PDF action tools. Same with Excel and Word as well. You can open those documents. You can use what we have as the universal recorder is available to us. So you can use the universal recorder, which is a part of your entire listing window, and you can record your actions. And yes, it will allow you to work with any kind of action. I'm sorry, we are on a very short timeline, which is the reason why I'm not able to show you everything possible, but it is possible. You can take up a session with us and I'll definitely be able to guide you on all of that. We have some more questions that are available. Can we integrate some Python? Yes, you can definitely write Python scripts and integrate them with JavaScript here. You have a action set here, which allows you to work with scripts. So you can, you have something for Python script here. You can see this. You can execute a particular script by adding it to your this one. So let me just, I think, I don't know why my screen is not being visible. I'm unable to share my screen.
No, ma'am, you can share. You are the presenter. You are the presenter.
No,
you can share.
Just, I am unable to share it, Ashish. Sorry. I'm unable to open my screen. Nobody is able to see my screen. Okay. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
I'm unable to show it. But in the panel of actions, you have something called as a Python script. There is an action package called as Python script. There's an action package called as JavaScript. So you can use those to run your scripts. They work beautifully. There is no problem there. You can write your own VB scripts as well here. That is the advantage of things. Okay, then please explain about mobile app, and it would be great if you could demonstrate a little bit. I'm so sorry, I won't be able to show you the mobile app, but there is an app. I mean, you just have to go to your App Store or to Google Play Store, and you will be able to download the app. All you have to do is the same process here. You have to register on the app with your information and just log in. You will be given your credentials and you can start working as if you were working on a regular machine. It is the app which connects to the cloud. So you will be essentially working on the cloud. Then sorry, I was comparing with something else. Okay, how will you be able to? Yes, you do have options to work with REST API based automation as well. because there is an option available. All of what questions you're asking have the necessary packages, and you can use those necessary packages. You have packages for REST web services, you have packages for SOAP web services as well. Everything, and I mean literally everything, is available for you. So not a problem there. I think you will be able to handle those. And Syed is asking, I have a Windows desktop application written in C++. It has UI where we can enter data in fields. Yes, you can capture all of this on the Windows data application. You can read and capture it. Yes, you can read from Excel and push it into the desktop application as well. That is absolutely possible. It is not a problem. That is also a possibility. How to create bots on dynamic data? Bots on dynamic data is also very much possible. You don't have to worry. All you have to do is create resilient bots. The thing about bots in Automation Anywhere are they essentially will work on dynamic data only. Now, for example, the table that I showed you while I was extracting, that particular table can have 5 columns or 10 columns. It can have 100 columns. It doesn't matter. Whatever is the information at that particular point in time, it will allow you to extract that data for you. Okay, that is, and then Parthiban has a question. Once I create a bot, do we need to open the tool and run the steps manually? No, there are steps to deploy this, Parthiban. What I showed you is all on the private repository. You can create a public bot and you can schedule the bot to run at a particular time. You don't need to manually run the bot. That option is very much there. Okay. So, Satyakshi, please go on mute. And
नहीं, ये तब लगाते हैं जब मैं बोलती हूँ, पिच करती हूँ मैं.
Satyakshi, please go on mute.
नहीं, जब मैं बोलती हूँ.
Okay.
नहीं, ये स्लाइड होती थी जो ट्रेनर अपनी लास्ट स्लाइड में रखता था, Q&A से पहले. जब मैं बोल रही तब था नहीं.
Sorry guys, give me a minute.
Hello.
Go on mute, Satyakshi, please. Thank you. Okay. So sorry guys. Parthiban has another question. If we are, then do we need a server to deploy it, or can it be deployed in the desktop? Nothing gets deployed on the server or the desktop, Parthiban. It gets deployed in the control room, and it uses the device to connect. That's it. The resources are taken from the device, but otherwise everything is in the control room. And you store, or you are, if you're using an enterprise edition, you're going to load the control room into the what do you call, the server, and everybody connects to that particular location. That's it, nothing else. What's the privacy of okay, this is something else. So the laptop password access is only for the bot. That is to deploy the bot. It will not use the laptop for any other purpose. One. Second thing, Srivatsa, is that whenever you're talking about file access, what I showed you is something that we do not do. We do not type in the password or the username anywhere. We use what is known as the credential vault. I didn't have the time to demonstrate it to you, but there is a concept of what we call as a credential vault. So we store the sensitive data there and give limited access. Every developer or every bot will not have access to the credential vault. Only certain people who need it will have access. They will not be able to see whatever is stored in the credential vault is like a key value pair. So they will be able to use the key. They will never know what is being stored actually. So if I say password to, if I'm storing a key like Google password or Gmail password, they are going to see Gmail password. They will not see the actual password. So that is what we usually work with when we work with the privacy. And yes, your data is perfectly secure and safe because your laptop is connected through the bot agent to the control room, and only your bot agent has access to your laptop. Nobody else has access to the laptop. So nobody else can look at what is happening there as well. Yes, Puneet, the capture actions can be customized. I showed you how to extract a table. You can capture any particular item. Every item that is there captured, whether it is on the desktop application or in a Windows application, sorry, in a web application, comes with a set of, so the technology that goes behind it is recognized. So I have a legacy application like what Syed was asking, C++, then I can still connect to it. I don't have any problem there. I can connect to it. I can still access it because Automation Anywhere recognizes the technology that is behind that particular application, and accordingly, the properties of those items will be given to me. So I can work with those items however I want. Okay, then, and yes, Prasad, you can work with SAP perfectly as well, and you can create your own actions. You don't need any action at all, Hridaya. You really don't need any language to learn. You can do it perfectly without any problem. You can work with it as you like. So yes, who else is asking a question? Yes, Community Edition is very much free, and we can automate desktop-based applications as well. Valli Nagaraju. Okay, sorry. See, okay, she has left. Okay, for those of you who are wondering, Automation Anywhere Enterprise is licensed, whereas Community Edition is open source. So for you to be able to get your hands dirty, understand what is happening, then you can use the Community Edition. You don't need to get into the this one at all, Enterprise Edition at all. See, how is A different from UiPath, Sumana, is that in terms of Automation Anywhere, it is completely cloud-based, whereas UiPath has a desktop edition that is associated, which connects to something on the web. Then another thing about AA is it has much more flexibility than UiPath has. That is another thing. There is no issue with security, Surya Prakash. Absolutely no security with anything. I mean, no issue with anything. Then what else? Another thing is you really don't need any program skills. And when you're learning Automation Anywhere, absolutely no program skills are necessary. You just need to be able to understand how the code works, how the logic works basically, and you should need to know what you want to capture. That's basically it. Then somebody else asked me a question. Can we replace? No, we cannot replace the Selenium web application automation with RPA. This is not a testing tool, please. This is an RPA tool. It is for process automation. It is not for testing. Then Visual Basic for creating action. No, these packages are pre-installed. They are given to you, but you can use VBA for doing something in Excel and call that here. That is possible. Developer certificate, there are no technical, okay, you're talking about the certification. Okay, a developer certificate certifies that you know the development part of bots perfectly. Technical certifications are usually your administration and support certificates. So you can pick whichever would be suitable for you. And thank you, Santosh. Yes, you can extract a signature as well here, Srikanti, by just using the universal one that I had already told you about. You can extract, no, you can't extract the table partially, but extract the entire table and then you can split it partially based on a condition. That you can do. As yet, I'm not sure about video stream content, Ajit.
Pallavi, sorry to interrupt
yes.
you, but due to short of time, you can take one more last question.
Okay.
Because
so,
it's not possible
yes.
for us. There are a lot of questions, and definitely we will try to answer them through emails.
Okay. So the last question, guys, Satyakshi has reminded me of the shortage of time. Okay. So Nagendra is asking, we have automation tools like Selenium and QTP. Why do I need this? One thing is that this is not a testing tool. QTP, Selenium, etc. are all testing tools. They're used to test the web applications. These are not testing tools. Automation Anywhere is a process automation tool. I don't think that came across correctly for many of you. Automation, process automation means something that you do on a regular basis. daily, manually, rule-based work that you do, which takes a lot of time, that is a process which can be automated. There is no testing here. You test the bot that you use to automate the process. So that is absolutely possible, not a problem. As I said, advantages over UiPath is that Automation Anywhere is completely web-based and it is much more secure. It gives you much more freedom to work. Right, and that, I'm sorry, is the last question that I was able to take. And I repeat again, if you guys are really interested in learning Automation Anywhere, please do let us know and we will definitely arrange for a session for all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. We appreciate. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you being here. We shall be sending out the webinar recording to all you participants soon. I request you to kindly provide feedback before signing off, which will help us improve the quality of our future events. Thanks again for joining us today. Signing off on behalf of Team Spring People. Hope to see you again for our next Connect L&D webinar. Bye-bye.